Welcome back to Butterfly Effect Tarot. My name is Lorraine, and today's topic is Who are you destined to become? There are three groups, and the timestamps for each group will be in the description box in the comments section below. If the messages and readings resonate, please feel free to like and subscribe, and you can let me know in the comments section if you choose. To all of my subscribers and returning viewers, as always, thank you. To newer viewers, welcome. And if interested, you can return to the channel after this video. There are other videos, topics, and readings there as well. But other than that, let's go ahead and get into each one of your messages. Welcome to your reading, Pile 1, regarding who are you destined to become. So I've already pre-shuffled. I do generally prefer to pull 5 cards, but 7 cards came out for your group. So we will go ahead and look into the cards that came out, and then we'll get into your reading. So the first card out is the Ten of Pentacles, followed by the Ace of Wands. And then we have the Six of Wands, followed by the Two of Swords. And then we have the Magician, followed by the Nine of Cups. Final card out is the Lovers. Bottom of the deck energy is the Knight of Swords. So for this group, actually really quickly, doesn't matter if you're male or female, masculine or feminine energy, the messages should apply no matter what. Okay, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, for this group, the Ten of Pentacles comes out first. That's a card of legacy. This is generally a legacy that you create and leave behind even after you have passed on. What you create, what you put out, who you are, who you become is still somebody that is discussed and talked about and remembered and recognized. So with the Six of Wands also being out here, because we have the Ten of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, Six of Wands. Six of Wands is about recognition. It's about accolades. It's about being recognized. It's also a card of fame. It is a card of being seen, somebody that has power, that has authority, somebody that is immensely successful. This is a card, and this energy is giving me somebody who is a conqueror. Because we do have the Two of Swords coming out after the Six of Wands. So this suggests that there may be a time, either right now or at some point throughout your journey, you may be in a Two of Swords energy where things in your life are stagnant, or there's an uncertainty about your path or who you're meant to be, or what your purpose is. Or you may know what your purpose is, but maybe you don't have insight or clarity as to how to get started, or if things will work out, or if this is truly what you're meant to do. But I also feel like for this group with this Two of Swords, in the card, the swords are up, blocking her heart, blocking herself, and she's blindfolded. So I feel like for this group, a lot of you or all of you have a tendency to protect your heart. You could be very guarded with your energy. You could be somebody who prefers to maybe stay to yourself, or there could be a slight fear here for some of you, if not all of you, of being seen, because it's coming out after the Six of Wands, and the Six of Wands is being seen. So who you're destined to become is somebody who is meant to be in the spotlight on some level. This doesn't have to be a huge level. Although with the Ten of Pentacles out here, I do feel like for some of you, whether you believe this or not, or whether you like it or not, with this Two of Swords, you are, for some of you, meant to be seen and meant to be very well known. Okay, because this is giving an energy with this Ace of Wands of an innovator. There is something that you're meant to create, or that you're creating now, or something that you're meant to put out into the world, through your talents, through something you're naturally gifted at, through something you're passionate about, and it's meant to maybe create a change, or it's something that will lead you to your Six of Wands. It is something that you will be recognized for even after you have gone and passed on. You will still be someone that is talked about. What you create, what you put out, what you give to the world in terms of your energy with this Wands energy, you will be somebody who is meant to create a legacy that is remembered, okay? With the Two of Swords, though, there could be an uncertainty about this. And as I stated, some of you may know that you're meant to have a huge purpose here. Some of you may know that you're meant to have this huge legacy. Some of you are aware of what this creative endeavor is, what this is that you're meant to do, who you're meant to be, and there could be a slight fear or concern about what comes with this role. Because when you're seen, when you're in this Ten of Pentacles, Six of Wands energy, and you have all of this success and abundance and prosperity and all of these energies loving you and pouring into you, there is likely to be people who are polarized by this energy. There could be envy, there could be jealousy, there could be some concern about that. Some of you may be guarding yourself because you've been through so much by putting yourself out there, by allowing people to have access to you, that you've guarded yourself in this Two of Swords energy, where you're not wanting to see that this is what you have to do, or you're not wanting to, or potentially may not know how to put yourself out there while still keeping yourself protected, while still guarding your heart and your energy. But you're going to move into this Magician card, and you're going to be operating in this energy of confidence, clarity, having a vision for yourself, and taking inspired action to create and materialize the vision that you have for yourself, for your dreams and your goals. Also, the Knight of Swords is at the bottom of the deck. Knight of Swords is the opposite energy of the Two of Swords. Knight of Swords is also inspired action, and it's also the energy of somebody that is ambitious and driven to win. Somebody who is not just communicating, what they desire, but somebody that is putting the action behind it. Now, when you have the Nine of Cups coming out after the Magician, Nine of Cups is wish fulfillment. This is personal wish fulfillment. This is the energy of somebody who is content and satisfied in every area of their life. So it's like you create this life that you want. You create this level of happiness for yourself because you go from the Magician of creating what you desire, achieving your dreams and goals, into the Nine of Cups, which is achieving immense emotional fulfillment. This is regarding your finances, who you are. There's an intense level of confidence here. So a lot of you at some point on your journey may go through a number of glow ups, but I feel like there may be a big transformation that will happen internally and on a mindset level, and then it will reflect out because the Magician is fiery energy with all this wands energy and the energy of confidence and intensity coming through here. You're more than likely somebody who is going to be very physically attractive or viewed this way. There's going to be a magnetism and allure about you. There will be something magnetic about you that will draw in eyes to you. I don't feel like you're going to have to try very hard when it comes to the success of whatever you put out. I feel like there's something about your energy or the energy you'll be in at that point that will naturally draw people to you. It's not just your looks, although I do feel like that will play a massive role because there's something very sexy about this energy. This is somebody who is meant to be seen and admired. And you may not care about this admiration. You may not care about this validation. You may just love doing what you do and what you put out into the world and love the fact that it's successful and people are benefiting from it or people are loving it and embracing it. But there is still a level of a lot of admiration here. You're meant to be admired. You're meant to be acknowledged. You're meant to be recognized for who you are. You're meant to be recognized as somebody who's overcome. And for some of you with this Two of Swords, Knight of Swords, whatever you put out or however you're recognized, it may be tied to you helping other people when it comes to something to do with the mind. Maybe you help people transform for some of you. Others of you, you could be actors or actresses. You could be writers. You could be producers, directors, coaches. With the swords energy, this is like teaching. This is also the energy of politics, the legal field, activism. But there's definitely something here that you do that is very near and dear to your heart. It will provide you emotional fulfillment and it will lead you to a Ten of Pentacles. The Lovers comes out at the end. The Ten of Pentacles is in the beginning. So with this Nine of Cups coming out before the Lovers, this denotes to me that for most of you, because this part is going to kind of split into three groups, but for most of you drawn here, as you're reaching this height of success and personal happiness with this Nine of Cups, it magnetizes and draws in a lover. And with the Ten of Pentacles being at the beginning, this is somebody who you will have a Ten of Pentacles with, a legacy with. Okay, you will have an empire with this person. This is going to be a love that will last because Pentacles is about planting seeds and it's about long term, something that sustains. And also, this is the card of the number 10 of completion. So this lover situation comes in and completes you because you're coming in as a Nine of Cups where you have found all of this fulfillment, confidence, self-love, joy, emotional happiness, and abundance. And then you have the Lovers come in and then the 10 of Pentacles. Yeah, this is like a completion where you have found fulfillment and wholeness in yourself and in every area of your life. And then your partner comes in and that's like the icing on the cake. That's like the kind of last piece of the puzzle. And this is meant for you to enjoy and to be positively abundant. And you are meant to become someone who is financially well off. You are meant to be somebody who enjoys the finer things in life. You may travel quite a bit with all of this wands and fiery energy and this sword swiftness. Some of you may be known on a massive level, or you may be known or put something out there, for example, on the internet or some product that other people throughout the world will have access to, or they will link you and know you to that. I also feel like, as a side note, because there's two other groups of you I want to get into when it comes to this Nine of Cups and Lovers and Ten of Pentacles. But as a side note here, with this Nine of Cups and this Lovers, the nine can oftentimes, it's also a card of satisfaction and pleasure, personal pleasure. It's a card of like maybe dating and just enjoying your freedom and joy. And sometimes it can be associated with hookups, right? And then you go into the lovers, which is a couple that's very passionate and, tempting to each other. This is a very irresistible connection, very deep, very sexy, very sultry, very lustful. So I do feel like, as a side note, for a lot of you here, if not all of you, you may actually have like kind of like maybe a friends with benefit situation with your partner beforehand, or you may know this person or work with this person, and then you guys kind of start to maybe hook up or get, kind of very close and comfortable with each other. And then I feel like once you start being intimate with each other, it moves into the lovers, because I feel like once you first hook up, there's already a comfort there. And I feel like this kind of catapults the attraction and the desire and the draw to one another. It's just a side note. But for the other two groups of you, so like I said, most of you, you will create your success. You're meant to become somebody who creates systemic success, and it draws in your partner, because now you're happy and content and your energy is emotionally fulfilled. So you're receptive. You're open to receiving and giving love from a healthy place. And that kind of puts you into draw them in. For some of you, though, with this Ten of Pentacles, this could denote, and then the lovers at the end, this could denote that you are meant to work with your future spouse. You're meant to come together with somebody, because lovers is a transformative energy. It's a connection where two people transform each other. And as a result of this union, you can help transform other people because of the passion and the depth of your union. So I feel like for this group, this is obviously a power couple. For everybody drawn to this, no matter which group you fall into, this is a power couple. You're meant to become somebody that is one half of a power couple. But for some of you who do not create this on your own and bring in a partner, you will have this partner come in and you will build your success, your legacy, your wealth, and stand in the spotlight or in this power and authority together. For others of you, this is the same thing. You come in with a partner and maybe they are well off and financially abundant. And then you have this Ten of Pentacles support system that allows you to be comfortable enough to maybe operate in this Ace of Wands energy to finally put yourself out there. It kind of creates this level of stability and confidence and abundance in you that kind of inspires you. And in this Ace of Wands, this is inspiration, and it inspires you to step out and pursue your dreams and goals. And then you reach this high level of success as a result of it. But before reaching this success, before this fame, for everybody drawn to this, before reaching this success and this creating this legacy, the Two of Pentacles, the Two of Swords, is here suggesting that there is a standstill, there is a pause, there is a moment where you go through uncertainty, there is a moment where you do not see clearly, or there is some sort of deep-rooted fear or need to guard and protect yourself, and that may keep you stuck. There could be a fear of failure, because you feel like maybe, or that your purpose and destiny and who you're meant to become is this massive energy in the world on some level. And again, putting yourself out there, it kind of gives people a certain level of access to you. And in the Two of Swords, this is something that you may not be comfortable with at this time, or at some point in your journey, you won't be comfortable with this. So you will be at a crossroads. The Two of Swords is having to make a decision. You will be at a crossroads, or you're at one now, where you will have to choose to step out on faith. You will have to choose to be confident. You will have to choose to drop those two swords, to take that blindfold off, and to step into this Knight of Swords energy, to go out and pursue and take inspired action, to go after what you want, what you dream about for yourself, what you know you're meant to do. But there is a lot of confidence. You're meant to become somebody very confident, very sexy, very attractive. Even if you already are, the levels that we're looking at for this group, this is intense. This is magnetic. This is alluring. This is somebody that enters a room and all eyes are on them. You don't need to speak. There's nothing you need to do. Your energy speaks for itself. And I feel like this is something about you that will continue to grow and heighten as you age. Because with the Ten of Pentacles for this group, a lot of you could be meant, for some of you, you could be meant to live a very, 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 very long life doing whatever this is, right? I'm not going to go too deep into that, but the Ten of Pentacles is kind of like giving the energy of aging and moving into older age. And I do feel like, again, with this lover situation, the person that you end up with, you two will grow old together based off of these cards. For a lot of you here, you will grow old with this person. You will continue to nurture and love whatever this creative energy is that you put out into the world. And you will be somebody, I don't care how many people may dislike you or be polarized by you, because for this energy, you could have people that are typically just jealous, or they're Maybe they have something within them that they see in you, and because they're not tapping into it, they could be projecting onto you and wanting to tear you down. Don't get me wrong. And I do feel like that could be a fear with this Two of Swords, of dropping those guards and allowing people to have access to you to put you in a state of mental and emotional anguish. But with that being said, because the Two of Swords is emotional constraint, but with that being said, you move into this magician energy and then you create emotional fulfillment at some point. Some of you could already be in this energy. Others of you, you're still moving through this, but this is, you have wands and swords out here. So this is all swift, fast moving energy. It's like as soon as you make this decision, things start to take off. As soon as you take the first step with this Ace of Wands, like surprisingly, things start to become easier, or they start to move and operate very quickly, because you go straight from the Ace of Wands of a new passionate beginning, a new project, something that you put out. Maybe you put yourself out there more, or you open the door to allow in this abundance, and then it takes you straight to the Six of Wands. There's nothing in between the Ace of Wands and Six of Wands. You go straight from starting, straight from initiation, straight into success. So this is the product or service that you put out that may actually bring in abundance much quicker than you're anticipating. Maybe for some of you, you feel like this is something that may take a lot of time and energy from you. And then maybe you be surprised that it's not. And it could be because it's taken a while for you to step into this power and energy and put yourself out there. So maybe behind the scenes, this success has been building. The intended success for you has been building. So as soon as you take the action, it's like it's like something breaks free. It's like breaking free. And then all of a sudden, all this power and success comes in for a lot of you. Ten of Pentacles is slower moving energy, and it is the first card out here. But what that tells me with it coming out with the Ace of Wands and Six of Wands is that there's a quick, or for most of you, a quick and very fast initiation and success and abundance that comes in. But it is something that is meant to last with the Ten of Pentacles. As previously noted, this is my group of people who are innovators. This is my group of people who are creative. These are my group of people who could be very intellectual. A lot of you could be very guarded and protected. You could be very reserved. But I am getting a strong King and Queen of Wands, Emperor and Empress type of energy from this specific group. Even maybe King and Queen of Pentacles. You know, you could be a King of Wands meets a King of Pentacles, Queen of Wands meets a Queen of Pentacles. But again, I'm getting a strong, intense aura from this group. So this is a group of people who either are, or you're meant to become somebody very bold, very courageous, very fearless, very dynamic, somebody who has a lot of influence in the lives of other people. You know, somebody who has a lot of influence and power and authority over themselves, somebody who's very much fulfilled and happy in their own personal self, but also in a loving connection. But I feel like also for some of you, there could be two different paths or two different directions that you desire to go in. And that could be what that Two of Swords is. That perhaps you're not sure about which path to take, or which is the best path, or which path is meant to be for you. And there's maybe a concern about choosing the wrong path, or putting yourself out there, wasting time and energy, and nothing comes of it. I get it. But I do feel like you're viewed as, or you were meant to be viewed as, a conqueror, somebody that overcomes this. And perhaps for some of you, somebody that helps other people to move out of this Two of Swords energy into this Knight of Swords and operating in this magician energy. You could be a master manifester. And right now you may be blocked, or at some point in your journey, you may feel blocked when it comes to manifesting and creating what you desire. But there's an energy here of your creative power coming back, because with the Two of Swords, this is a blocked energy, and then the Magician is about creative power. And then you have the Ace of Wands, Six of Wands, which is also about creative power and energy and inspiration. So at some point, there may be a blockage here, and that could be what this is for some of you. But you move out of that. You do. And it may happen suddenly. Even if it's something that lasts a while, this stagnation, this uncertainty, or this inner fear, this guardedness, even if it lasts for a while, when it does pass, I feel like it's something that may happen suddenly or overnight, or maybe there's an epiphany moment or something that takes place, and it automatically puts you into this Knight of Swords energy where you start taking this inspired action, bold, ambitious, driven, determined to succeed, determined to win. But this is you are meant to become somebody very powerful, somebody very influential, somebody that is very attractive in their, in this kind of, I don't feel like it's just physical. There's something about your aura that is very enigmatic. I feel like maybe for this group, you could be a bit mysterious. Even though people will have access to you, you may be a bit guarded still with this Two of Swords coming out after this Six of Wands. Even though you're in the public eye, or a certain amount of people have access to you, or what you put out draws attention to you on some level. It could be a small level, it could be a massive level, right? Some of you here, it will be massive. Based off of these cards, the Ten of Pentacles, Six of Wands, this is somebody who is more than likely meant to be famous. But for others of you, this is going to be on a smaller level, but this is going to be an overwhelming amount of power, authority, and influence that you do carry. Because I do feel like this is the group of people that receive rewards. You get awards, you get accolades, you're very much recognized. You're somebody who is very celebrated, and you're very admired, you're very respected. You're somebody who other people view as inspiration. Very inspiring energy, and this is an inspiration and an influence that will last even beyond you. Even after you have passed on, people will still be finding inspiration in who you are, what you say, what you do, what you put out there. The mark that you leave, the blueprint that you set, it is something that will sustain. This is something that will be helping people, inspiring people. People will be loving it, people will be drawn to it, even beyond your existence here. So for this group, your purpose, who you're meant to become, again, is very massive in your own right. You're meant to be the best. You're meant to be one of, if not the best, in whatever industry, career, passion project, creative endeavor that you pursue, that you go into. You're meant to be at the top. You're meant to be somebody who is acknowledged as somebody that is the best at what they do, or amongst the best. This is top tier energy. These are my bosses. These are my leaders. These are my people who step in a room, and your energy alone can transform everything in that room. You are somebody that is meant to get what your heart desires. You are meant to have this Nine of Cups. You're meant to have this Ten of Pentacles. And I love that for you. But this is a very seamless reading, right? This is very straightforward, even though there's a lot of cards, which usually a lot of cards can sometimes add a bit of complexity to the reading for me. But with this group, it made sense. Like, as the cards came out, it, like, the story unfolded seamlessly, which again makes me feel like for a lot of you, once you step out of that Two of Swords, things may take off very suddenly, because this is a very smooth, direct, straightforward energy. And your future spouse may come in suddenly, right? It's going to be, I do feel like for most of you, at a time where you are at your happiest, where everything in your life, all your wishes have come true. You have created this life that you desire for yourself. You're content, you're satisfied, you're in this immense level of joy. You have people around you that support you, that are authentic. You're operating in your most authentic energy. And then this person comes in, and it's going to be an overwhelmingly passionate, a good overwhelming though. It's going to be an overwhelmingly passionate, intense, deep, very everlasting connection. I feel like the depth and the passion in this connection will continue to grow throughout the course of your relationship because of the Ten of Pentacles. This is giving me the energy of people that grow old, but that passion and desire and temptation and lust and this attraction for one another does not age. It ages, but it gets better. It doesn't phase out. This is feeling like a very slow burn type of connection, where every time you're intimate, some of you could experience tantric sex with your partner, where you're able to manifest through your intimacy, because the Magician is out here and the Lovers is a very transformative energy. So I do feel like maybe some of you are able to manifest through intimacy, through your connection. It's like you're powerful and authoritative on your own right by yourself, and they are on their own right. But when you come together, your connection is explosive in a beautiful way. And for a lot of you, this does denote that when you're in your Nine of Cups and you're successful, standing out in your power, in your authority, being loved, beautiful, sexy, seductive, sultry, highly desired. I feel like you're going to be highly desired. I feel like your future spouse will also be in that energy. And this is what's going to draw you two together, because you're both going to be in your power, because the Lovers is a powerful connection. I feel like you're both going to be in your power. Both going to be happy. You're both going to have achieved this great deal of success for most of you. And then when you come together, it's like you create this even bigger legacy with one another. It's like two powerful forces coming together and becoming even more powerful. And like I said, for others of you, you may meet your future spouse and you build your empire together, or others, you meet your future spouse, they're well off. It creates a sense of comfort, stability, and confidence in you, and inspires you to step out and become who you were always meant to be, because you have a support system that you always needed. Because that Two of Swords could mean for some of you that you don't take action or you haven't taken action yet, or at some point in your life you may not, or you may have this kind of slow drag because you don't feel like you have support. Maybe there's too many things on your plate and it's keeping you stuck. You have responsibilities and you can't manage, and then you can't make time for this dream or goal. And then maybe for some of you, a partner comes in and they provide what you need, and it allows you to kind of operate in this free energy, almost like that 10 of Pentacles frees you. That abundance, that support system, this genuine, loyal, faithful, supportive partner, circumstance, and environment kind of eases up your load. And now you're operating in this free energy, because Wands is about freedom. You're meant to become somebody who is free in your energy, somebody who is free spirited, somebody who pursues every dream and goal with diligence, with passion, with inspiration, with confidence, and you achieve what you desire. You are meant to become somebody who gets what they want. The beauty, the positivity, you get that. And for this group to have such a big purpose, you may have been through some stuff. You don't get to this type of success and abundance and prosperity, especially when it comes to having power, authority, influence, and fame that creates a legacy. You do not get to this very easy. It takes a lot of death and rebirths. It takes a lot of transformations. It takes a lot of inner work. You have to evolve into this type of person. And that could be why that Two of Swords is there, because some of you could still be evolving, or others of you have went through this in the past before stepping into this energy. You're going to be a different timeline. But either way, who you're meant to become is somebody who is leaving a legacy. You're meant to be remembered even beyond your existence here. You're meant to enjoy the finer things in life, and you're meant to enjoy the beauty and the joy of life. And maybe for the first half of your life, or for a longer period of time leading up to this, life was the opposite of this, where it was a lot of challenges, a lot of difficulty, a lot of you hiding in the dark, standing in the shadows, not wanting to be seen, having a fear of being seen, having a fear of failure, a fear of success, having a fear of what comes with success and fame, or what comes with this heavy, big purpose in your life. But you're going to get there based on these cards. We do have to choose our destiny. So no matter who you're destined to become, we have to make the choice. With the Knight of Swords and this Magician, we have to take inspired action. It's not enough just to know. There's also the energy of doing. Okay, so we do have to choose this. But with the Ace of Wands, you will make the choice based on these cards. For most of you, if not all of you, this is what you're meant to do. This is who you're meant to be. And I'm wishing you all the best, because this is a stunning reading. The energy here feels so exciting and fulfilling, and it just feels so inspiring. There's a lot of joy and happiness and abundance and positive energy that is just swarming through this reading. It just feels so loving and comforting. But it feels intense. This feels like passion, like almost like you're a person that's going to become somebody who cannot sit still. It's like as soon as you achieve one goal, you're going to be geared to achieve the next one. It's almost like as soon as you break free of this Two of Swords, all of a sudden you just start checking off every box of everything you wanted to do. Hobbies, exercising, eating right, building this business, building that business, creating this project, creating that project, putting out this creative endeavor, putting out that creative endeavor. You're going to be focused on your own fulfillment and happiness, and that's what you're meant to do. And again, I love that for you. But I am going to leave your reading there. And of course, if it resonates, please feel free to like and subscribe. You can let me know in the comments if you choose. And if interested, you can return to the channel. There are other topics, videos, and readings there as well. But other than that, thank you. Welcome to your reading pile 2 regarding who are you destined to become. So I've already pre-shuffled and pulled the cards. I do prefer to pull 5 cards. However, 8 cards came out for this group. So we'll go ahead and look into the cards that came through, and then we will get into the reading. So the first card out is the Wheel of Fortune, followed by the Ten of Pentacles. And then we have the King of Swords, followed by the Page of Wands. And then we have the Two of Wands, followed by the Queen of Swords. And then we have the Knight of Wands, followed by the Seven of Swords. Bottom of the deck energy is Justice. So really quickly, it does not matter if you're male or female, masculine or feminine energy, the messages should apply no matter what. For this group, I did pull 3 clarifying cards from a separate tarot deck, and I will identify the cards that came through there as well. So we got the Ten of Swords, the Page of Wands, and the Ten of Cups. Bottom of the deck energy for the clarifiers is the Four of Wands. So this is a pretty big energy. There are a lot of there's actually a lot of messages that have come through and different elements to who you're meant to become. I didn't really expect this many different components, but we are going to get into this. So, for you, I do see that you are destined to become somebody who is very powerful, very influential, definitely somebody who will have a position of authority, or there is something about your presence that will have this kind of almost intimidating energy about you. I do feel like for most of you here, potentially all of you, this does have to do with whatever career or creative endeavor that you plan to put out into the world. I do see a strong energy here of a need for justice. Your energy suggests that you are somebody who has an intolerance for injustice. You're very much about fairness, balance, and harmony. There's a strong energy of a humanitarian or maybe activism coming through here. Somebody who's a bit of a rebel with a cause, somebody who stands up for the underdog. You're given a very much a protective energy, but also somebody who's a teacher, somebody who's a healer. I feel like you are somebody who heals through whatever you do. I do feel for this group, some of the careers or potential creative paths you may take are as follows. And of course, if yours is not mentioned, you can let me know in the comments, but we're just going to throw some out there from what the reading is suggesting. For some of you, you could be in the legal field, right? We have justice at the bottom and we have the king and queen of swords, which are both, and we have the seven of swords. So yeah, this is definitely an energy of somebody who makes decisions. You could be in a position where there are people who seek you out for advice. So you could be a therapist, a coach, author who heals through your words, motivational speaker. You could be even in the occult because I am getting a very spiritual energy from this group. So you could be somebody who is very spiritual, somebody who's done quite a bit of self work and transformation, especially with the King and Queen of Swords out here. This does denote to me that you are someone who is very emotionally intelligent and very much in control of your emotions, but it does feel like you've basically had to overcome a lot, especially because we have the seven of swords out here at the end, but we also have the 10 of swords beginning in the clarifiers, meaning you've had a lot of painful endings. You could have had a lot of painful or one massive painful ending in a connection, but I feel like this is the energy of those who are the lone wolves. You're people who tend to be very reserved, very closed off. You tend to either keep a small circle, but for most of you, you keep to yourself. You don't like a lot of people around you. You could be somebody that's very protective over your heart, over your energy, over your space. You are somebody that is very non tolerant. There's no nonsense type of energy coming through. You're destined to become somebody who does help other people. There's a strong energy here of somebody who is wanting to help people overcome what they've been through. So, with the King and Queen of Swords, let me make this very clear. You, whatever path you choose, whatever purpose, life purpose you have, I do feel that it is meant to lead you to your future spouse. I feel like it's meant to lead you to somebody who mirrors you, somebody who is very much like you, somebody who's walked a similar path as you. They've had similar experiences and they have arrived at a similar place as you have. They more than likely are also in a similar career field or pursuing similar creative endeavors, but it all has to do with creating justice. This feels like my group of change makers. I do feel like you and your future spouse are individuals who will have power, influence, authority, and success and notoriety on in your own right. But I feel like when you come together, you create a 10 of pentacles. You create a legacy together and individually. It's like you're powerful on your own, but together you're even more powerful. And especially when we have the King of Swords and the Page of Wands, and then we have the Queen of Swords and the Knight of Wands. And what sits between the two is the Two of Wands. And the Two of Wands is two different paths, two very fiery energies. It can be, it also represents a partnership in creative endeavors. This could also suggest that you'll be traveling for work, or you may travel or be traveling when you come into communications with this person. But specifically, it's like these two fiery energies come together and you meet in the middle with the same goal, the same perspective, the same kind of maybe even traumatic past and history. Both of you have done the inner work. I feel like this is the spiritual person. I feel like you both have trust issues. You both are very closed off, not easy to get close to. At the time you meet them, you both may have been single for a while. But I do feel like you're destined to become or to come into contact with this person, and you both have a very powerful mission. Now, mind you, similar energy came out in pile one, but this group is very much on a completely different level. This is a very spiritual, transformative kind of change maker type of energy. This is giving me the energy of a person and two people as well who go out into the world, and there's like maybe a group of people or just humanity at large. Your heart is very soft on the inside, right? King and Queen of Swords are very assertive, but I want to make this clear. I see this as the energy of somebody who is loving, compassionate, nurturing, and who has a lot of love to give, but maybe somebody who's been hurt, you've been taken advantage of, people have crossed your boundaries. And so you've had to evolve into this kind of King and Queen of Swords archetype who protects yourself. But even in this protective energy, even in this stoic, serious, guarded, intimidating energy, that you embody, on a core level, you desire fairness, love, justice, and peace for everyone. And I feel like because you've experienced so much injustice, because you've experienced so much heartache and trauma unfairly, that you have now or will come into this energy where you don't want anyone else to experience that. There's a strong energy here of you knowing what it feels like to be alone and to feel isolated and hurt, and not wanting other people to feel that way, wanting other people to feel seen and heard, to make sure that they're getting the justice or teaching them how to get the justice for themselves. So for some of you, you could be judges, you could be lawyers, you could be in law enforcement, you could be in politics, as I mentioned earlier, an activist, an author, you could be a teacher, a professor. There's definitely an energy here of you or those drawn to this being in a career field that has to do with teaching, maybe helping people heal through your own emotional intelligence and your own experiences that you've overcome. Or this is you operating in this energy of protectiveness with this sword, making decisions, fighting for the underdog, fighting for the cause, fighting to change this, fighting to balance this out, wanting things to make sense for everybody. So I do feel like this, for this group especially, with the Four of Wands at the bottom and the clarifiers, this is an energy of you being celebrated, right? Having joy, having a sense of community, especially with that Ten of Cups and Ten of Pentacles, having basically becoming somebody who has a strong support system around them. But I feel especially for this group, this did come out in pile one, but for this group, I'm going to double down on this. How you take it is how you take it. For this group, there are quite a few of you that will be well known. Okay. The Six of Wands did show itself during the initial shuffling process in the first card pull. And then the Four of Wands comes out at the bottom of the deck for the clarifiers. And then the Ten of Pentacles is about a legacy. You are destined to become somebody who leaves a legacy where you're known. Whatever you put out is known. Whatever you say, whatever you do, whatever impact you have, who you become will be talked about and remembered well past your time here. I do feel for this group, there is a necessary energy of you being seen. And I do feel like you will be stepping out of your shell, because the King of Swords goes into the Page of Wands, and then the Queen of Swords goes into the Knight of Wands. The King and Queen of Swords are very closed off and detached, and they tend not to like to have to interact or socialize with too many people. They like to stay in their shell and stay in their own little bubble. But the Page and Knight of Wands are energies that step out of that shell. These are people who are seen. These are people who are fired up. They're passionate. They pursue their dreams and goals. They are in the spotlight. They are seen. They are heard. They are felt. You are very passionate about seeking out justice. You are very passionate about helping to heal others. You're very, very passionate about helping other people to find their voice and their healing, find their own justice. And with the Wheel of Fortune, this is about spiritual justice, spiritual karma balancing out. And then you have justice at the bottom of the deck, which is more of the reality form. This is the actual legal system. So I do feel like for this group, this for some of you, it's going to be the actual justice system. And for others of you, this has to do with karma when it comes to the emotional and the spiritual self. So some of you could work in the occult. You could be somebody who is very analytical and very spiritual. And with that being said, you could do something that is spiritually inclined that helps people to heal and helps to create a balancing and a kind of neutralizing energy in the lives of others. It could be different for each of you. This is a big energy coming through, and there are a lot of messages. So there could be quite a few of you drawn to this group. But I will say it again. You are meant to become somebody who's forced to step out of your shell. You're meant to be somebody who is forced to be seen, recognized, respected, admired, and remembered. You are destined to become this person. And everything that you've had to endure, the painful endings, the neglect, the abuse, the abandonment, the toxicity, the betrayal, the deception, the envy, the jealousy, everything that has put you in this energy of isolation and transformation was destined. I feel like with this Wheel of Fortune, it was fated because it played a role in your legacy with the Ten of Pentacles coming out of the Wheel of Fortune. Now, for some of you, if not all of you, I do feel like also with this Wheel of Fortune, there may be something that suddenly happens in your life along your journey that will put you into your life's purpose, that will set you into creating this legacy. It could be an event, a sudden meeting, some sudden opportunity, some sort of door opens. But there is something here that creates a sudden shift in your life, and it kind of puts you in this energy of pursuing your passions, pursuing your dreams, and stepping into your purpose. And whatever this Wheel of Fortune moment is, it can be different for each of you. But you're destined to become somebody with freedom, free financially. I feel like there's wealth, there's abundance, there is prosperity, there is a happy home, there's a happy union, marriage, there's a happy community. With the Four of Wands, you're destined to become somebody that enjoys the finer things in life and that enjoys a sense of love, warmth, inner peace, blessings, and abundance overall, because the sun energy showed itself throughout the shuffling process continuously. So I feel I'm going to double down on that again. You may have been through quite a dark period, quite a few dark periods throughout your life, and you're destined to become somebody who is able to walk in the sun. You're meant to have balance and harmony and fairness in your life. And you're also meant to create this for yourself, or there's an opportunity that comes in that helps to align, that puts you in this position, and you're meant to help other people. Because even if you're, say, for example, a judge, just an example, you're still helping to heal others for this group. Because when you make a ruling decision on behalf of somebody who's experienced an injustice, in that moment, that creates a sense of closure and peace for that individual. It creates a sense of feeling seen and heard. So no matter what industry, career, creative endeavor you pursue, you're going to be helping to heal others. There's a very strong humanitarian energy here. You may create a nonprofit at some point, or a charity, or some sort of a program or company that helps give back to others, or helps to provide for the less fortunate, or helps again to create some sort of a safe haven. Your energy gives safety. You're destined to become somebody who creates a safe space and a safe environment, and fair rules for other people in some way. But it's very passionate. It's something that you love. And I do feel, again, with the spiritual energy for this group, a lot of you know what this is. Some of you may have already stepped into this, but a lot of you know what this is. And I do feel like along your path, you are meant to have a divine counterpart who also plays a huge role in the legacy that you create. You play a massive role in their legacy. They play a massive role in your legacy. You're meant to have your own individual paths, but it comes together, and together you create this Ten of Pentacles. There is a lot of change. There's a lot of healing. There's a lot of spiritual awakenings. There's a lot of transformations that comes through this. I do feel like it will be a very passionate, with all this wands energy and this assertive swords energy. This will be a very deep, passionate, intense, lusty kind of connection. I feel like the two of you will bring out the fun, playful, free spirited side of each other. Like you both will let your guard down with one another. And that's something maybe neither of you have felt for a while. But you're destined to come into the union with somebody who's going to bring out that joyful, lighthearted, easygoing nature in you. You may travel a lot, or again, whatever you do for career work is meant to touch the world or reach many people in the world on some level. And some of you could be older when this happens, because I'm getting a mature vibe, or you're just an old soul, and the person you meet will also be an old soul. But you are somebody that is destined to become viewed as somebody who's very wise. Some of you could become a spiritual guru. You're destined to become somebody who's viewed as very trustworthy, very honorable, a strong integrity, very dependable, somebody who creates a safe space and haven for those who have been hurt, who have been harmed, who have went through a lot. And I do feel strongly here that for this group, You may have a slight concern with putting yourself out there because the king and queen of swords don't like to have allowing people to have too much access to them. But I feel like you will step into this light and you will step into this power. And I don't feel like it has anything to do with the wealth and the fame or the power and influence that comes with this. I don't feel like you're doing it for that reason. I feel like you're doing it because from a core essence, you're doing this for righteousness' sake. And as a result, you're blessed and highly favored with the wealth, the abundance, the notoriety, the love, the fame, the power, the influence that will come to you. And you're destined for this. Now, destiny is something we choose, right? By our decisions. Fate is something that is kind of fated based off of, I guess, the path we come from, our lineage and everything. But destiny is something I always feel like we choose with our actions, our words. We can kind of steer it in some way. And I do feel like you'll have a lot of control and power authority over your own life. And you will have a lot of clarity and you will help to provide and help other people find clarity in their own lives. You will help to find clarity in situations and circumstances and rules and legislations and laws. It depends on each of you. But you're meant to become somebody who helps to be a guiding light, if you will, for other people. And this is a very powerful energy. It feels very intense and it feels very safe and warm, but also very serious and stoic. Definitely. Yeah, I feel for this group that this is fated and destined for you. Meaning no matter what happens along your path, I feel like any detour you take in life, it's going to be fated to bring you back here. I feel like you were put here for whatever this purpose is. And I don't feel like there's anything or anyone that will be able to throw you off of this path. You are being guided. You're being, I feel, divinely guided to this role, to this position, to become this person. And so is your future spouse. So I do feel like for this group, if you've been alone for a while, if you've been single for a while, if you've given up on love, it is something that is destined to come into your life. And I feel like you're two people who don't trust anyone very much, but you will trust each other wholeheartedly. I feel like when you come into union with this two of wands, the passion and the desire and the intensity and the allure for one another will be instant. You will recognize each other's soul from the very moment you meet because I feel like you're both very intuitive and I feel like you'll know that you can trust each other. You'll see the authenticity in one another. You'll see the trauma that's been healed. You'll see yourself in that person and they'll see themselves in you. And that guard will slowly come down. And with this person, there's aspects of the both of you that you will experience with each other behind closed doors where you're more vulnerable, where you're perhaps able to operate in the night of the Queen of Cups and King of Cups energy, but on the outside, people won't have access to you. So I feel like you will be very protective over one another and very protective over your connection and the empire and life you're building with one another. And I feel like this will be a very private and closed off union. People won't have access to this connection. And I do feel like you both will be very highly desired, but by other people. But I do feel like other people will be able to see that you only have eyes for each other. And there will be clear boundaries that will keep people from trying to overstep when it comes to this connection in you two individually. Very fiercely protective over one another. I feel like this will be a very spiritually protected connection and it is a divinely guided connection. So I do want to point out as well with the Ten of Swords, Page of Wands, and Ten of Cups in the clarifiers. With the Ten of Swords, you go from the painful ending, right? In connections, disappointments, lack, heartache. And then you go into the Page of Wands where you go through a period where you become free. The Page of Wands is a free spirited energy. This is somebody that's optimistic. They're excited. You get your zest back for life. You go through some sort of a renewal or transformation that puts you in an energy of wanting to enjoy life and pursue your dreams and goals. Again, this feels like you will be turning your pain into power, and that leads you to the Ten of Cups because you go from the Ten of Swords in the clarifiers, and then it ends with the Ten of Cups. So heartache, disappointment in relationships and connections, to having a happy connection and a happy community and home and environment and support system. And it reconfirms that with the Four of Wands, wealth, abundance, you being celebrated for your, and awarded and rewarded for your creative endeavors, for your dreams, your goals, your career, your business. And that's also events and partnerships and two people being celebrated for what they've built as well. So I double down, You and your future spouse will have a legacy that you create together, and it is destined. I feel like you both were put here to do what you're meant to do, and you were put here to come into union with one another and cross even more barriers and create even more changes as a unit. It's like, again, with that Two of Wands, two fiery forces coming together to take on the world. Because with the Two of Wands, this is about planning to pursue something, planning to start something. And in the card of the Two of Wands, he has the world in his hands and he's looking out over the horizon. So I feel like the two of you, again, is two fiery, intense, passionate, assertive, courageous, bold energies come together, and you take on the world, and you take on creating change on in some level within people or within the world at large, or both. Okay, so definitely a powerful energy coming through here. And also, I want to point out, with the King of Swords and the Page of Wands, and then the Queen of Swords and the Knight of Wands, you have the Seven of Swords at the end, and both of those energies are headed towards this Seven of Wands. I mean, this Seven of Swords, which is about injustice, it's about theft, toxicity, abuse, just negative energy. And then you have the Justice at the bottom. You two, again, as I stated, seeking out justice, seeking out fairness, seeking out balance. This could even mean that you're in a career where you help people who operate in the Seven of Swords energy transform their lives and operate more in a high integrity. So you could be maybe a parole officer or a probation officer, but there's definitely an energy here of you transforming others, transforming rules and laws, or transforming something in the world. But there's definitely a fight the cause type of energy coming through here, or healing and transforming people in the world so that it can make the world a better place on some level. So definitely a lot of messages coming through. A very, very, very intense, very passionate group of people. And I do feel like you will achieve all that you set out to do. I really feel that strongly here. I don't feel like there's anything that can stop you from doing this and to or becoming this person. And I love that for you, because I feel like you're well deserving of this happiness, this joy, this love, this success, the love and admiration that you will receive. Very well respected, very honorable, viewed in a very high light. You may have a fan following or people that seek you out in a very passionate way and love you in a passionate way for all that you do. You're somebody who has given a lot and maybe have not received a lot in return, but you're destined to become somebody who receives all of the most beautiful abundance that the world has to offer. And again, with that Wheel of Fortune is good karma. You're destined to become somebody who experiences good karma and the beauty and the sun and the joy of life, because you operate from a very pure energy and you have good and well intentions for everyone and for the world as a whole. So I feel like you're very deserving of this. And some of you could have already come into this energy, even those that haven't, this is who you're destined to become. And I love that for you. But I'm going to go ahead and leave the reading there. And of course, if it resonated on any level that you're aware of, please feel free to like and subscribe. You can let me know in the comments if you choose. And if interested, you can return to the channel. There are other topics, videos, and readings there as well. But other than that, thank you. Welcome to your reading pile 3 regarding who are you destined to become. So I've already pre-shuffled and pulled 5 cards. We'll go ahead and look into the 5 cards that came through, and then we'll get into your reading. So the first card out is the Moon, followed by the 5 of Swords. And then we have the 7 of Swords, followed by the Magician. And then the final card out is the 4 of Wands. Bottom of the deck energy is the Sun. So really quickly, it does not matter if you're male or female, masculine or feminine energy. The messages should apply no matter what. So for this group, I also pulled 3 clarifiers from a separate tarot deck. And the 3 cards that came out is the 3 of Swords, followed by the Hierophant. And then we have the Page of Wands as the final card out. Bottom of the deck energy for the clarifiers is the High Priestess. So your reading is actually very straightforward. You are destined to become somebody that is very prosperous in every area of life. With the Sun energy at the bottom of the deck, 4 of Wands at the end of the read, you are destined to become somebody that is very happy, somebody that is either in a very happy connection and family unit, or in a soul tribe and maybe platonic friendship unit. But you are destined to have people around you that support you, that celebrate you, that love you. Some of you, these may be people that you work with in a creative endeavor and is a kind of meeting of the minds, like you have similar interests that you all love. But there's definitely an energy here of your life going through a transformation, because the reading starts with the moon, and then the bottom of the deck is the sun. Polar opposite energies. The moon energy is where there's illusions, there's fears, there's doubts. This could be an energy of feeling depressed, having anxiety, and just really feeling overwhelmed and hopeless in life, not really seeing the sun, not really seeing the warmth, just feeling very detached and heartbroken. And then, of course, the Five of Swords and Seven of Swords follows the moon energy. Five of Swords is conflict with others. It could be bullies, thieves. These are people who are deceptive. They could have envy and jealousy, people sabotaging you, um, you know, again, just attacking you, toxic experiences. And then the Seven of Swords, this is an energy of somebody who's betrayed you. Five of Swords, also betrayal. This is just you having experiences with people within your home life, like within your family unit, within your friends, within a relationship or relationships. There's just been maybe a lot of letdowns when it comes to connections where you have basically allowed yourself to be emotionally involved in. And there's been a lot of disappointment. There's been perhaps people stealing from you. And in the process of stealing and cheating and lying and sabotaging you and betraying you, they also may have stole your light or thought they did. They could have stolen your hope or restricted it, your faith, your joy, your boldness, your courage to live, to enjoy life, to open up to new experiences and new love, because there was a distrust here with the moon card. There was a fear. And in the process of you perhaps closing yourself off to bad things, bad people, bad experiences potentially coming in again, you also may have closed yourself off from the good. But you're destined to become somebody that takes your power back with that magician energy coming out after the moon, the Five of Swords and Seven of Swords. The magician is somebody who is confident. They have clear vision of what they desire, and they take inspired action, and their mind, their action, their thoughts, their energy, they utilize it to create the life they want, to manifest what they desire. You're destined to become a master manifester and somebody who has the power to bring in all that your heart desires, because the magician comes out with the Four of Wands following it. And the Four of Wands is also creative energy. This is usually you being celebrated perhaps for creative endeavors, or what you do for career. This is also the energy of a happy home, a happy relationship, a happy friendship unit. This is where you have wealth and abundance in finances. There's harmony, there's peace, there's bliss, there's contentment, there's satisfaction. This is having feeling basically feeling blessed and emotionally fulfilled with every aspect of who you are and every aspect of your life. Now, for this group, some of you could be retired, right? Because initially I was not getting a whole lot of energy around careers, other than obviously creativity because of the magician and the Four of Wands. So for some of you, you could be retired. For others of you, in the clarifiers, we have the Three of Swords, the Hierophant, the Page of Wands, and we have the High Priestess. So again, Page of Wands, there's more creative energy here. So for those of you who are, not retired and you are, you have a career or a aspiration, I do feel like it is something that is going to be a passion project, something that you enjoy doing, something that you love. It is something that you will create, and put out into the world. For some of you, with the Hierophant and High Priestess energy out here, and then the moon also operating with intuition, you could be very spiritual. I think everybody here I feel is very spiritual, because I do feel like you went through some sort of a spiritual transformation, or you're going through one now. And this leads you to coming out of the darkness of that moon energy and stepping into the sun energy, which is the light. Also, with the High Priestess, there's a dark side and then there's the light in the picture, denoting that the High Priestess energy has transformed the dark, the hurt, the pain, the trauma, the toxicity, the shadow aspects, and transformed it into the light and found balance spiritually. So I do feel like that everyone here is very spiritually inclined, very spiritually in tuned. I feel like the experiences you've went through have led you to a spiritual awakening and into your more spiritual knowledge of who you are. But I also feel like for this group, some of you could be spiritualist. You could have a career where you do something in the occult, or you could be a healer, a therapist, or a pastor, or a priest, or some sort of a religious or spiritual guru. Just somebody that has a lot of wisdom that maybe others may seek you out for that. Or if this is not something you do as a career, you're destined to become somebody where the people around you, with that Four of Wands energy, having that happy community, the people around you, the people you meet in your everyday life, they find a certain level of renewed hope and vigor and faith from you, from something you say, something you do. You're destined to become like a walking, guiding light, even if this is not a career. With the sun energy, I feel like you have this aura and this energy that's very big and bright, and you light up a room. You have the energy to transform the energy around you and the lives of others in a sense. But I feel like for a long time, maybe in the past or maybe in the present, you've not operated in that sun. You've not operated in that light. Maybe you've been in a dark room. Maybe you've been mentally and emotionally in a dark space, and it's taken some time for you to come out of it, or it is taking time. But I do feel like for this group, you may go through something of a moment where you realize that the people that have hurt you still have a certain level of power over you mentally and emotionally and even energetically, which is perhaps why you're still in this darkness. And then I feel like you turn that pain into power, where the thought of that, or the recognition of that, kind of fuels you in an energy of making you realize that you don't want them to continue to have that energy over you. You don't want them to continue to be the cause of why you are stuck in this headspace and this emotional stuckness forever. Why you're not pursuing your dreams and goals, why you're not pursuing hobbies you want, why you're not living your best life. For this group, you're destined to become somebody who finds their zest and their spark back. More pep in your step with this Page of Wands energy. More of an energy of vigor, excitement. Maybe you'll travel more. Maybe again, you'll start more hobbies that you enjoy. Maybe that's how you meet your new partner or your soul tribe with this Four of Wands. You start pursuing things and doing things that you've always loved to do, or that you've always wanted to do, that maybe you didn't have the energy or the desire to do anymore. You come out of an energy of hopelessness, and then you all of a sudden have this renewed energy of optimism, where you see things in a way where it's bold and courageous. You feel like the world is your oyster, and you start walking through life with this confidence, this attractive energy. I do feel like you're very attractive. What comes with a spiritual transformation, in my opinion, and also in my personal experience, is when you transform internally, it does tend to transform on an external basis in your appearance. And with the Wands energy out here and the Sun energy, I do feel like you are physically attractive. I feel like there is a very strong, fiery, passionate energy about you, very sexy. With the High Priestess, you could be very alluring, because the High Priestess tends to be very private, very closed off, and protective over her energy. But there's usually an enigma about her, an energy of wonder and curiosity that draws people in. Very magnetic. I feel like there's a beautiful balance of masculine and feminine energy here with this Hierophant and High Priestess, and with this Moon and this Sun energy. You're balancing that out, and you're coming into your power. You're destined to stand in your power. You're destined to stand in the sun. You're destined to have bliss, blessings, and happiness and positive abundance throughout every aspect of your life. And I do feel like it is a dramatic contrast to what you've experienced in the past, or what you've experienced leading up to this beautiful, abundant energy you're coming into, that you're destined to come into. I do say again, we choose our destiny by our actions, again, with that Magician, by creating what we want with our actions, with our thoughts, with our words, with our intentions. We set and shape how we transform into the destiny that is meant for us. Fate, I always feel, as I said before, is something that you're fated for based off of your experiences and where they're meant to lead you, or where they tend to lead you. So for this group, you are destined to be happy. I don't get a whole lot of energy around career for this group. Obviously, I get a whole lot of energy around success in whatever career you do. I do get a whole lot of energy around this being creative or spiritual, or some sort of a healing profession for those of you that are pursuing your dreams and goals. For others of you, it just feels like you're going through an energy where you are stepping out more, and you're no longer afraid to be seen. You're no longer afraid to open up to allowing in, potential people and circumstances and experiences that are happy and joyous. And you're more intuitive now with the high priestess and hierophant energy. So I feel like you're trusting in the divine, you're trusting in God and the universe, that you're protected, and that what's not meant for you, you'll see it right away and you'll cut it out, right? You'll remove it or move away from it, because the high priestess sees into the dark. She sees what other people cannot see. And I feel like you have transformed and or are transforming, and you have found your light or you're finding your light by going through the darkness. But I do feel like your intuition is being very sharpened here, or it has become so. And that could be what's encouraging you and making you more bold and courageous in enjoying life again. Realizing that you've learned so much from what you've been through, that you're more sharper than you were and less likely to find yourself in those same situations, experiences, or connections that had disappointed you and broke your heart. Now, with this Three of Swords, Hierophant, and the Page of Wands coming out, with this the clarifiers, I do feel like also with the Three of Swords, that's about heartbreak. It could also be about divorce. It's breakups, it's just disappointments in love and romance and connections. But with the Hierophant coming out, this could denote that some of you may have divorced, right? And this could have really kind of thrown you off. It could have been a pivotal tower moment that you may have found hard to come back from. But for others of you, I feel like that Three of Swords into the Hierophant is denoting that perhaps you go from this disappointment, this harsh breakup, this unfulfilling experience in love or in connections, and then you have something more traditional, like a traditional type of friendship where it's authentic, it's pure, it's genuine, it's loving, it's righteous. Or this is you going into like a marriage, right? With there's traditional norms, a marriage, the white picket fence, and we have the Four of Wands, which denotes the same energy. So I also feel like though with that Three of Swords and that Hierophant, this could mean that perhaps you either when you're in this Three of Swords energy of heartbreak and disappointment, either you seek out higher guidance and wisdom from God, the divine, the universe, whatever you believe in. And that kind of helps you move into this Page of Wands energy where you become free of that past energy and you become more happy, joyous, optimistic, and inspired again. Or this could mean that you seek out or you either seek out or you're drawn to somebody who is like a healer of sorts, somebody who is very spiritual, very wise. This could even be a therapist or a counselor or a coach. This could be somebody that maybe you find, or they come into your life, you come into their life, or you find them through some means. And there's something about their words and their energy that could help to transform your life, or it plays some sort of pivotal turn in freeing you from things of the past. And then you move into this Page of Wands, and I feel like that becomes the starting point for you moving into this magician energy of then creating the Four of Wands for yourself and operating in the Sun energy, where now you're confident, you're happy, you're joyous. There's a lot of satisfaction, there's a lot of pleasure in your life. There's a lot of energy of you feeling sexy and attractive and magnetic and powerful and just feeling so much different than what you felt before. And the Justice card showed itself in both shuffling processes. In both of the shuffling in both of the shuffling decks, when I did that, it came out. So I will say this is karmic justice. This is something that is meant to come in. You're meant to have that harmony and balance in your life, because I feel like you've been somebody who showed up righteous and fair and loving for others and in situations, and you've not gotten that in return. There was no equal give and take. So I feel like this is karma for you to be able to enjoy this beauty and this joy. But I also feel like this may denote that you're the person you're destined to become. Those that have hurt you are meant to see you in this energy shining bright and happy and joyous and surrounded by people that love you in a pure, loving, genuine way. And I also feel like perhaps you're destined to become someone who's meant to see those who have hurt you go through their own karma as a justice balancing of the scales thing. It really just depends. But I do feel like very strongly here, you are going to be abundant. Whatever you experience with this person or these people or just these experiences in life, it could have affected you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially, because the Four of Pentacles did show, as did the Five of Pentacles. So I do feel like for those of you where your every area of your life has been affected by, just circumstances of life and disappointments in people, those it's meant to be restored. You're meant to go through a renewal. You're meant to go through a transformation internally, and it will manifest, as I said earlier, externally, not just in your appearance, not just in the way you dress, not just with you being able to enjoy the finer things in life, but also with your circumstances, surroundings, and with how you view the world and approach the world, how you approach things in life. There's no more pessimism. There's no more expecting the other shoe to drop. There's no more expecting the heartbreak. There's no more expecting for things to get worse before they get better. This is you looking at life and saying, if there's any stumbling blocks, I know I can overcome it. It's kind of feeling like you realize you've overcome so much that there's not much that can really take you down anymore. So you might as well just go out and enjoy life to the fullest. So you're destined to become a master manifestor and somebody who is living their best life in every area of their life. And I love it for you. But I'm going to go ahead and leave the reading there. And of course, if it resonated on any level, you may feel free to like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments if you choose. And if interested, you may return to the channel. There are other topics, videos, and readings there as well. But other than that, thank you.